Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight for 23 ABC News at 5. I'm Jessica Harrington. Tonight's top stories. Is Kern County flattening the curve as it relates to COVID-19 cases here at home? A look at the latest numbers from public health and the trend in cases. Plus, Governor Gavin Newsom making an executive order to help out certain essential workers. Details on his announcement during his news briefing. 23 ABC News at 5 starts right now.
Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News at 5 starts now.
Good evening. We are beginning tonight in the Live Center as Public Health has rolled out a new graph breaking down the trend for local COVID-19 cases. You can see it here. Officials are now confirming 565 cases for Kern County residents and 9 for non-residents. But a glimmer of hope is coming out of the Kern County Public Health Department tonight. Officials announcing the number of daily new cases in Kern County is showing a decline for the first time in several weeks. 23 ABC's Tori Cooper joins us live from Public Health with details on what this means for Kern County's COVID curve. Tori?
Yeah, Jess, Public Health unveiled that new tracker earlier today, that dashboard really giving us that more clear picture surrounding our county's curve. But health officials say only time will show whether or not we are truly slowing the spread.
We are hopeful that we are flattening the curve. It is unfortunately still too early to know.
Health officials say even though Kern County recorded the lowest number of daily new cases since mid-March on Thursday, with only 4 new residents testing positive, the numbers are still too sporadic to indicate that any real change is happening.
We're continuing to see wide variability on any given day, and so until that is more stable, it's difficult to say for sure what kind of changes are happening.
The numbers are changing, and so is Public Health's reporting. The department unveiling their new updated COVID tracker on their website Thursday, a data collection they say is now more accurate and provides a bigger scope of the pandemic locally.
We have also added the number of recovered residents, which you see is 203.
The updated tracker also showing some good news for residents. As of Thursday, more than half of all the tests that have been conducted have come back negative for COVID-19. And 90 residents who previously tested positive just a week ago have now since recovered either at home or in hospital isolation. But new charts are also showing people who fall between the ages of 18 and 49 are the most impacted so far. That new data showing more than half of the county's residents who tested positive are all under the age of 50. Now, health officials concluded their briefing by explaining that they have already responded to more than 1,000 complaints of local businesses remaining open despite the order. Now, they are still encouraging everyone to call 661-321-3000 if you see a business operating that shouldn't be. In front of the Kern County Public Health Department, I'm Tori Cooper for 23 ABC News, connecting you.
All right, Tori, thanks. 39 offenders have been released without bail following a statewide mandate. That's according to the Kern County District Attorney's Office and the Kern County Sheriff's Office. Earlier this month, the California Judicial Council adopted a series of emergency rules of court. That included a rule that created a mandatory statewide bail schedule that reduced bail to $0 for many criminal offenses. The Kern County DA's office said that after that review, it found 39 offenders who met the requirement for no bail. These individuals were released with promises to appear at their next scheduled court date. DA Cynthia Zimmer said that by working with law enforcement, they will continue to do everything in their authority to limit dangerous criminals from being released back into the streets. The order from the Judicial Council has several exceptions to zero bail, including all serious and violent offenses and looting offenses. Governor Gavin Newsom announcing today during his daily news briefing that he has signed an executive order to help essential workers in the food supply chain, including delivery and fast food industries.
Today, just an hour or so ago, I signed a statewide executive order impacting the entire food chain and entire sector that will allow for 2 weeks of supplemental paid sick leave for workers that have been contracted COVID-19, been exposed to it, or have been exposed to isolation or quarantine orders by local health officials, federal and or state health officials.
Governor Newsom said there will be 2 weeks supplemental sick leave for workers who have been exposed or have been quarantined by local or state officials, as you heard there. He added that sector is essential to everyone's livelihoods, and it has been hit hard with challenges like health and safety. He said it requires a serious response. The governor also urged workers to stay home if they are sick.
We don't want you going to work if you're sick, and we want to make sure that you know that if you're sick, it's okay to acknowledge it, and it's okay to let your employer know and still know that you're going to get a supplemental paycheck for a minimum of 2 weeks.
According to the California Department of Public Health, there have been more than 24,000 cases of COVID-19 in the state. President Donald Trump and the coronavirus task force also held its news briefing this afternoon. The president announced the new guidelines for reopening the country.
Therefore, my administration is issuing new federal guidelines that will allow governors to take a phased and deliberate approach to reopening their individual states.
President Trump said their approach outlines 3 phases in restoring the economic life in the country. He added they are not opening all at once, but 1 step at a time. He says some states will be able to open up sooner than others. The president said instead of a complete shutdown, they will focus on sheltering the high-risk areas and individuals. The U.S. Department of Labor has released new numbers on the amount of people who have filed for unemployment. Just in the last week, 5.2 million more Americans filed for jobless aid. The number continues to rise as more people are losing their jobs due to the coronavirus. All businesses deemed non-essential have been closed in 48 states. Economists say the unemployment rate could reach as high as 20% in April. U.S. stocks are slightly up after the close of trading Thursday. All 3 major indexes are posting modest gains. The Dow growing slightly by 14%. The Nasdaq jumped by 1.6%, while the S&P 500 increased by more than half a percentage point.
And if you were outside today, you were definitely seeing that sunshine and very warm temperatures. We were right around that 84-degree mark here in Bakersfield today, and you can expect much cooler temperatures as we head into the weekend, though. But right now, still looking at temperatures in those 80s with that sunshine. That's up 3 degrees from what we were feeling this time yesterday. And we're seeing those 80s not only here in the valley, but also in the Kern County desert. 70s up in the Kern River Valley, and 60s dipping down into 50s in some of our southern mountains. Now, as we head into the overnight hours, still going to be relatively warm, but something that we are seeing is an increase in clouds. That's ahead of our next storm system that we have been talking about all week. You can see right now it is bringing those showers and even snow in the Sierras to our north, but Kern County will be seeing that Friday afternoon and into the evening. I have more details on just how cold we will be getting and just how much rain you can expect coming up next.
The Kern County Board of Supervisors is gearing up to address the November election and discussing if action should be taken so people can vote safely. The board will discuss a resolution recommending Governor Newsom issue an executive order regarding the general election on November 3rd. The order would authorize counties to conduct an all-mail ballot election. The supervisors meeting is set for next Tuesday. Congressman T.J. Cox and other Congress members have sent a letter urging leaders to prioritize millions of dollars in funding to water as part of the COVID-19 stimulus package. As the pandemic continues, officials say millions of Americans are more in jeopardy of facing water shutoffs or dealing with unaffordable water services. The letter asks that $47.5 billion be prioritized for water funding. The letter breaks it down to 3 major requests. First, $12.5 billion for immediate assistance to cover the cost of low-income water billing assistance. All states, localities, and utilities will also be required to stop water shutoffs. Finally, Congress must allocate $35 billion in annual federal funding for public clean water and drinking water providers to improve our water infrastructure. Civil rights activist Dolores Huerta issued a statement today following Governor Gavin Newsom's announcement of $125 million in financial assistance for undocumented Californians. She thanked the governor and the leaders of the legislature for their leadership and actions to secure financial assistance for undocumented Californians. She says they are integral to the economy. She says farm workers, home care workers, and child care workers are essential and are working every day to feed the nation and keep the community safe. But she She adds that they are especially vulnerable during these times. Huerta added that she will continue to work with the leaders in Sacramento to ensure ongoing financial assistance is provided to the lowest income Californians. To read more about her response, just head to our website, turnto23.com. A local convenience store is offering doctors and nurses some assistance in getting to work in the form of free gas. Rami Patik, owner of the Ramco Express in downtown Bakersfield, is offering up to $25 in free gas to doctors and nurses in the heart of the pandemic. On Tuesday, dozens of physicians and nurses showed up. We interviewed him this morning to talk about this idea to help out and the turnout he saw on Tuesday.
Believe it or not, the line was all the way down F Street, and it just the joy and happiness on the faces of nurses and doctors that came in thanking us for what we've been doing here at Ramco. You know, it just it's overwhelming.
Well, it's happening again right now until 6 this evening. Ramco is located at 23rd and F Streets in downtown Bakersfield. The nonprofit Children First, along with a local market, bringing hope to those in need. They donated 300 bags of much-needed groceries to East Bakersfield families this morning.
The need is great, and we're just really appreciative that Los Reyes Market contributed in such a generous way. And we're hoping that others in the community also find it in their hearts to contribute, not necessarily to Children First, but to any other organization, including Cap K Food Bank and others who are on the front lines trying to provide basic necessities to those who are struggling right now.
Children First and Los Reyes Market passed out enough groceries for 300 families at Williams Elementary. It was a two-day event in which they provided groceries to 100 families each day. Each family received a number of items, including milk, eggs, beans, rice, and many other necessary items. Officials with Williams and Cato Middle Schools helped give out those groceries.